Objection.
I thank the gentleman from Massachusetts, and I thank him for his dedication and his passion on this issue that people in the United States of America should not go hungry. I rise in support of my colleague's point of order. This farm bill contains cuts to the food stamp program that will transfer the responsibility to states and cities to provide food to their families. And may I remind the members of this body that food stamps, our nation's most important anti-hunger program, the program was just cut 2 months ago in November. Because of the recent expiration of the Recovery Act provisions, food stamps have already been cut by $5 billion for next year, and $11 billion is the cut over 3 years. What does it mean? It means that a family of 4 lost $36 or 16 meals a month in support. That is already the difference between health and hunger. Now, the savage cuts in this farm bill would push Americans already living on the edge that much closer to the brink. Because of the $8.5 billion in cuts here, 850,000 households translates into 1.7 million Americans will lose an average of $90 a month or 66 more meals a month. Low-income seniors, working poor with families, individuals with disabilities, veterans would be particularly impacted by these cruel cuts. Perhaps some members have forgotten. That's because we eat well. That's because we eat well every day. But members have forgotten. Hunger is an abomination. We're talking about men and women experiencing real physical trauma. Children who cannot concentrate in school because all they can think about is food. Seniors are forced to decide in what has been a polar vortex, a virulent winter season, whether or not they will go hungry or be cold. And this is a problem all across the land. In my Connecticut district, nearly 1 in 7 households are not sure if they can afford enough food to feed their families. In Mississippi, 24.5% suffer food hardship. That's nearly 1 in 4 people. In West Virginia, Kentucky, 22%. Ohio, nearly 20%. California, just over 19%. The continued existence of hunger in America is a disgrace. And that's why in the past there's been a strong tradition of bipartisanship on fighting hunger and supporting nutrition. This farm bill flies in the face of that tradition. It takes food from the poor to pay for crop subsidies for the rich. Food stamps have one of the lowest error rates of any government program. It's a powerful positive impact on economic growth because they get resources into the hands of families who are going to spend them right away. The research shows that for every $5 of federal food stamp benefits, it generates nearly twice that in economic activity. Children's Health Watch. Those researchers found that after collecting 14 years of data, over 20,000 low-income families, that when families experience a loss or reduction in food stamp benefits, they are more likely to be food insecure, to be in poor health, and their children experience intensified developmental delays relative to their peers. Most importantly, food stamps are the right thing to do. It is the job of a good government to help vulnerable families to get back on their feet. And cutting food stamps will cause more hunger and health problems for Americans. In the words of Harry Truman, and I quote, "Nothing is more important in our national life than the welfare of our children, and the proper nourishment comes first in attaining this welfare." This bill flies in the face of that. It will cut $8.5 billion. You couple that with the cuts that have already been made in the economic recovery program, and that is almost $20 billion in a cut to the food stamp program. Some of my colleagues will say, well, we only did $8.5 billion in the farm bill. Let me just tell you, It may come from two sources, but the constituency is the same. Who are we as a nation? Where are our values? If we can provide crop subsidies for the richest farmers in this nation and tell them that they can make $900,000 a year before they will not be able to get a subsidy, or the 26 individuals who get a premium subsidy for crop insurance of at least $1 million a year. Those folks are eating. They're high on the hog. They got 3 squares a day. And when we provide $1.40, it is $1.40 per meal for food stamp beneficiaries. The people at the top end don't have an income cap. They don't have any asset
Time
tests.
has expired.
And that is not true for food stamp recipients. We prescribe who can receive them. There are income limitations and asset limitations. Who are we as a nation?
Time has expired.
What are we about? Let's not take food out of the mouths of families and their children.